So for you personally, where is your like boundary cutoff? Like you mentioned, like Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion. Like, what is considered for you something to say? Okay, for me, don't touch that. But this you can. I don't care. Is
Yeah.
it is it like a personal thing? Is it more if it's geared towards Disney himself or
Yeah, that's a tough question. It's a great. It's kind of case by case for me. It's like, you know, it's tough because Walt was not a guy. He loved the past. He loved the nostalgia, but he wasn't mentally married to a point where he would it would restrict him from progressing.
right?
So a part of OG is like, well, you know, um, I don't want to lose something that Walt Disney created. At the same time, though, I feel like it's anti-Walt when you're telling me that I can't change it at all, and we're basically going to make it like a museum,
Right.
like the castle, for example. That's a Walt Disney thing, right?
Right.
Like that was the castle that he decided on.
Right.
Okay, but Walt was also a forward thinker. So it's like, what's the proper move with that? Do we upgrade the castle, make it taller, do the whatever?
Like how they did with Hong Kong.
Right. And kind of fulfill Walt's wishes in terms of progress and change? Or do we respect the fact that was Walt's finalized design and that's what we stick with? And that's where it's hard for me.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And that's why it's hard. Like if I'm Disney management, it's a really hard kind of needle to thread.
I would hate to be the one to make that decision.
Oh yeah, I mean, what do you do? What do you do? Like Pirates of the Caribbean, classic attraction, classic. You don't get rid of it, but are you disrespecting the original version or the original vision when you go in there and you change it? If you were to implement some of the Shanghai technology, is that disrespecting Walt's original vision for the attraction?
Well, I'm trying to remember when they made the change when they started like implementing the films into the attraction. Was there a lot of heat online? I can't remember any, to my knowledge. Like when they started implementing like Jack Sparrow and his storyline of like with Davy Jones and Blackbeard when they added them like on the smoke screen and everything. Did people like put a stink up about it?
They did. I mean, typical Diz Twitter stink, But like typical Diz Twitter, there was a stink for like a month or two, and then it went away.
Yeah.
So it's like same with Small World. There was a whole stink about the characters in Small World. Kim Irvine, legendary Imagineer, unfortunately received a lot of death threats over that.
Yes.
She mentioned that in the Imagineering story, which is shame on you, fandom. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to like everything, but you don't do that. But like, but then it's over though. Like, there's a few months of anger, and then it's over with.
And then how does that make us look as a fan community?
Like crazy people?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the problem I have with a lot of this stuff, George, is because as a fan community, I want Disney to take us seriously. I'm a fan. I'm not against the fans, obviously, because I am a fan. I'm with you guys. I mean, we're in the same family, right? But at the same time, like, I want Disney to take us seriously. So if you're going to sit here and make the fandom look like lunatics, you're not doing the fandom any favors because Disney's not going to listen to us anymore.
It's almost like the rule book for Universal is like here. The rule book for Disney is like here.
Yeah. Which in a way is a compliment because it shows you more people care about Disney, which is, I mean, if you're Disney, that's good, right? But at the end of the day, though, you also, it ties your hands more.
Yeah.
Look at Disney. They can't do any, like the Rivers of America and Walt Disney World, which isn't really a legendary, iconic thing.
Yeah, no. I think a lot of people are basing it off of what it is for Disneyland. And because it was replicated, it's like, oh, okay, you can't touch that because that was still part of Walt's vision.
Right. Well, exactly. And then there's a lot of, and I'm going to get a lot of crap for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. There's a lot of heat on this, like removing the Rivers of America because you're getting rid of the Americana. But you're not really getting rid of the Americana. Because the Cars Land franchise, that Route 66, kind of like that on the road, like, sort of like we're gonna road trip it to
And they're gearing it towards an IP that's for kids and families.
Right.
Kids going to a Disney park, they're not going to know about the rivers of America. They're not going to know about Tom Sawyer Island. That's the stuff that you kind of learn in school in the history books. And kids are like, you know what? I'm on vacation. I don't want to learn any of that stuff.
And that was the IP of that day.
Exactly. It worked that way.
Right. In the 50s or the 60s, even into the early 70s, maybe, the Tom Sawyer, the Huck Finn, that was
Davy Crockett, Zorro.
Right? Yeah. That was IP back then. That would have been the same as Cars or Iron Man or any of these other IPs right now. It was just different.
Yeah.
But it was an IP, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like everyone, like back in the day in the 60s, I mean, I wasn't around, obviously, but I've heard that a lot of young boys would kill to get a Davy Crockett raccoon hat. Like,
right, exactly. Like, you look at a lot of these franchises now where a lot of Disney fans, a lot of Disney purists and stuff, right? They'll be like, oh, Iron Man has no place in a Disney park. Really? Because Iron Man is the Davy Crockett of today's generation.
Yes, I agree.
Iron Man is who kids look up to today. Just like how kids looked up to John Wayne back in the day, the cowboy thing. They looked up to Zorro and David Crockett and, was it Fess Parker?
Fess Parker,
right? They looked up to those icons, those characters. But now they look up to Iron Man and Thor and Black Widow, and these other characters. It's really, Disney really hasn't changed that much.
No.
I mean, if you really look at it, like a lot of stuff that Disney does nowadays is still in the same kind of energy and tone of the Walt era. It's just maybe the characters are different. But really, is it that much different, though, in totality? Is it really that much different? Kids looking up to Iron Man. Kids looking up to Luke Skywalker. Kids looking up to, Thor. Is it really that much different than the kids in the 1950s looking up to Davy Crockett or Zorro? Not really. Yeah, it's all IP. Well, and this is the thing, too, George. I get mad. Fans think that Disney today is all about the IP, right? Oh, well, Disney's just about the IP. What do you think Walt was about? Everybody at home, do you really think that Walt was anti-IP? This is the man who literally pioneered and invented this IP flywheel. Do you think he was really against? This was not an independent filmmaker.
Yeah, no.
This is a guy who literally is the poster boy for this capitalist sort of like...
And it was IP that was already created.
Right.
You had like all the fairy tales. It came from books. It came from the Grimm's brothers fairy tales. He just took his version and created an interpretation that he wanted something less dark but more family friendly.
Right.
He created more of a storyline with it. Maybe changed some names, but the whole notion of Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, they were all folklore fairy tales that were already previously created. So he even took IP that wasn't even created by him and made it his own. That's true. Now, a downside to Universal not really utilizing a lot of their own IP is that if the company that owns the IP that they are borrowing from, because that's essentially what they're doing.
Right.
If they wanted to bow out and they wanted to end the contract and not renew, guess what? Universal's kind of screwed, because then they are forced to then remove it and have to think fast to add something new.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. We're sitting in a land right now at Universal that's literally a Disney IP right now.
Yeah.
Simpsons is technically a Disney IP.
Yeah. That is true. Anything that I'm assuming is bought with merch or something of the Simpsons, Disney gets a little percentage of that.
They do. Now, we've talked about that because the Sideshow Bob hats are pretty popular.
Very popular.
I see a ton of them even today. A ton of them. So they're making money here. But while we're on that subject, though, George, what do you think about the future of Simpsons Land here? You think we've heard from our friend Theme Park Wizard, it's on its way out.
Yeah.
It likely is. What would you like to see replace it?
I think, as a two-part question, I think, honestly, it's gone at both resorts. I feel like it's gone here, and I feel like it's gone in Orlando. I just feel like it kind of did its thing. It's pretty much over at this point. not really a whole lot that they can go off of it. And plus, I think that Universal's going to want to cut ties to have to pay Disney that percentage in the long run. Now, to the second part of the question, we've talked about it a lot on Orange Grove 55. Slimer is a huge component of this idea. I would actually love to see them bring Back to the Future.
Thank you. And that's full circle because we're talking about nostalgia.
Yes.
Universal, if you ever get a chance to watch this video, you probably won't. But Theme Park Wizard has Universal Special Access.
Yes.
So maybe Wizard, if you can send this to your Universal people, let them know we would love a next-gen Back to the Future attraction at Universal.
Yeah. And we're already kind of seeing them test the water, so to speak, with Back to the Future. Like, they're incorporating it in the Fan Fest that we'll be going to on April 27th.
Yep.
For whoever is going to Fan Fest on that day, if you see us, stop by, say hello.
Say hello. We don't bite, unless you want us to. No, in all seriousness, though, we don't bite. And April 27th, Fan Fest, Universal Hollywood will be here. And I think Wizard will be here, too, that day.
Wizard will be here, yes. Yeah, so it should be good. Should be a great time. And I'm very curious to see how they utilize the Back to the Future IP. I mean, of course, they're going to basically recreate the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Literally,
dude,
at the place where the movie was shot back in 1985. Like, to me, that's crazy.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, Universal, they're hungry. Universal is hungry, okay? And they want this so bad. And that's why 90s Night was fun. I went to 90s Night because I love you guys. You, Abby, obviously Mr. Webba, Larissa, like everybody, Mindy, B, everybody went with it. I love you guys. And I went for you guys. But the event itself, I mean, you were upset too. Like, I mean, Disney didn't really hit a home run with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like when it comes to Universal, they understand the fans more.
Yeah.
Like we talked about 90s Night. I'm telling you, if OG was running 90s Night, I'm telling you right now, I would be projection mapping Michael Eisner all over that castle. Orange Grove 55?
Huh?
Orange Grove 55?
Orange Grove 55?
Yeah. Yeah. And
then we're doing Citrico Central. That's my channel.
Okay, what is it called?
Citrico Central.
Yeah. CITRICO Central.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. What's your name?
Mario.
Christopher. Nice to meet you. Mario, nice hat.
Is this right?
Yes,
Yep,
that's it.
That's me.
And then for you?
And then Orange Grove 55. Orange Grove 55. And that's me, yep.
All right.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Citrico.
Citrico Central. Yeah. Yeah, so basically it's like a hybrid. So Citrico Central does a lot of the in-park vlogging and everything. And then Orange Grove 55 is in-studio podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I recognize this.
Really?
Oh, yes. So,
Maybe YouTube.
maybe YouTube.
Maybe you.
I'm on YouTube a lot.
Yeah.
Probably YouTube.
Yeah, probably.
It was good meeting you,
Nice
brother.
to meet you, man.
Take it
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, definitely check it out. We got a lot more content coming up.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to ask.
Awesome.
Take care, brother.
Thank you. I love that.
Yeah. So where were we? That's right now.
Oh, FanFest.
Oh yeah, FanFest. Yes, but yeah, I mean, I think that Universal though, I think Universal's hitting a home run with what they're doing with, like, okay. For example, 90s Night. I would have had Michael Eisner projected all over that castle. Hello, I'm Michael Eisner, head of the Walt Disney Company. I would have blew the roof off of that place, man. I mean, fans would have gone nuts for that, Disney didn't think about that.
And as I said, for 90s Night, I enjoyed it with all of you.
Of course.
I enjoyed it for what it was. Like, there were some instances, like, it was cool to see Goofy and Max on stage doing, like, their power line thing. Like, that was cool. I got to talk to Bill Farmer. That was so cool. To literally sit and have a chat with Goofy himself during 90s Night, that was phenomenal. So there were some instances that I really enjoyed. But as a whole, of what the 90s Night was when they first came up with it, like 6 years ago, They didn't have the fireworks. They didn't have that extra nostalgia to be able to do the meet and greets. They were over an hour long.
And this guy was hot. I was trying to cool.
Man.
I was trying to cool this guy down, making jokes, but he wasn't having it.
I wasn't having it. I was like, I really wanted to meet Darkwing Duck. I did get to see him in passing. I did get to interact with him, but to have that one-on-one photo with Darkwing Duck, you needed a wristband, which was never mentioned. They capped it off at 7 p.m., which was 2 hours before the event even started.
Right.
And they started it at 6, which was 3 hours before the event even started.
Yeah.
But we didn't even know that.
We didn't know that. And that's where I'm saying Universal understands that stuff.
Yeah.
They get it more because they're hungrier.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Universal guy. I like Universal. I just upgraded to a Platinum Pass. I like Universal.
He's trying to get goods with Brian Roberts.
Exactly. I'm trying to get that special access from Brian Roberts. Brian, sign me, bro. Sign me. No, but I like Universal, but my heart is with Disney. I want Disney to really just kick some ass,
Yeah.
And the problem is that I think Universal understands. The thing with Universal is that they're more willing to sort of kind of be a little edgier. To sort of be like, oh, you know what? If Universal was running the 90s night at Disney, they would have done my idea, the Michael Eisner thing. They would have done that. But see, Disney is so corporate and so afraid. They're hesitant to even go outside the box even a little bit.
Well, and I think, too, is they rely on their laurels a little too much.
Right.
Because they know people will buy these tickets anyway. It's like we could do the simplest thing. We can half-ass it, so to speak, but people would buy the tickets. So why should we put any effort into doing something extra or special when we know that we're going to get the money anyway? I'm sorry, Disney, I love you. I am biased towards you, but I'm just stating the facts.
No, exactly. They know they're going to get the money for it, and and that's the problem. But as a loved one, my ex-girlfriend, we didn't work out. We were together for a really long time, over a decade, right? One thing I will hand it to her, she would push me, do better, do better, do better, do better, right? Your parents will do that to you. Do better, do better. Oh, you got a B+? You should get an A. You know what I'm saying? Because when someone loves you and someone cares about you, they want you to do better. So Disney, we love you. That's why we're harder on you, because we want you to do better. We're not hard on you because we don't care. We're hard on you because we want you to do better. We want you to beat the pants off of Universal, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that at Universal.
Yeah, because we're actually here. Yeah, we'd have all eyes on us, giving us the evil look, but...
we want you to kick Universal's ass, Disney. Come on, let's go.
Yep.
Yeah, but you should push the people you care about, and even not just people. Like, we love Disney, so we're going to push them.
Yeah.
We're going to push them. That's why we're hard on Josh tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not that we don't like Josh, and he's a nice guy. Josh, we'll have a beer together. Yeah. It's all good, but we're hard on you because we want more, dude. We want you to do well. We want you to beat the pants off of Universal, and it's hard to do that when Universal is just doing smarter stuff lately.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the events. Now, Abby and I did do the Eve event for New Year's, which was really cool. I love how they had different areas for different music. Right. That was really clever. We also did Grinchmas. Got to meet the Grinch. Got to meet Max. What was so unique about that was they actually used a real live dog for Max. I mean, Disney wouldn't use that. No. I mean,
and Abby and George came over to my house after that, and my little Shih Tzu was going nuts, trying to hump you, bro.
Yeah, he was.
Because of that dog at Universal. I'm telling you, that dog, the smell was still on this guy.
So whatever breed of dog Max is, that your little Shih Tzu has the hots for.
Oh, big time, bro. He was trying to smash.
He was very happy that night.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But we'll be here April 27th, Universal Hollywood for Fan Fest.
And we will tell you the truth.
Yeah.
If there are certain aspects that are really good, we'll let you know. If there's certain aspects that are not so good, we'll let you know. We always tell it like it is. I do think, honestly, Back to the Future is going to be the cherry on the top.
I agree. Dude, I agree. That's a classic franchise. People love Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And they're very protective. We talk about nostalgia. People are very protective of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Because there's been rumors in Hollywood, oh, we're going to reboot it. Fans are not having that.
No.
Universal, don't you dare. If you ever try to reboot that franchise, don't you dare.
Yeah, no. There are certain things that you just don't touch. You don't reboot Back to the Future. You don't reboot E.T. You don't reboot Jaws. You don't, like...
No.
I could understand, like, Peter Jackson's King Kong.
That's fine.
That was cool.
Because that's like a 100-year-old franchise.
Yeah.
I see King Kong kind of like the Universal monster.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Now, them I would like to see, like, kind of like a reboot of, like, how they're... Because they already kind of started that with the Universal monsters.
Right.
Kind of, I would like to see that. But still keep the quintessential... the black and white classic Universal monsters, but also with Monsters Unchained coming to Epic Universe, that might open a whole door for a whole movie franchise.
It might. We were actually, George and I and our good friend Slimer were guests on Capture the Magic. Check out Capture the Magic on YouTube. Friend of the channel, Jared is awesome. Jared and his wife do amazing content, but we were on there talking about that. You know, how I was hesitant about, dude, we had videos on OG55. I'd had debates with Bash Guy about this, about how, monsters, I don't know, a 100-year-old franchise, are they going to be able to, is it relevant enough? I think what they're doing with the monsters in Epic Universe, I think you can reverse engineer that. I mean, I think what you can do, I think the attraction is going to be so impressive, and we talked about this on Capture the Magic, where you could almost sell people on the movies based on the attraction, and I think that might do that.
Yeah,
I really do.
Now, speaking of like replacing stuff, like we were talking about, and adding new, being that Universal Hollywood doesn't have a whole lot of room. And they can still kind of get creative. Look what they're doing with the Fast and the Furious roller coaster. They have it going over the freaking escalators on a hill.
Yeah, crazy.
But do you think if they were to take the area that they used for the filming of the classic monsters, do you think that they can utilize that spot and actually put in more stuff?
You're fine. Oh yeah, no, we're filming this right.
Yeah, you're good.
Unless you want to join us.
Hey, come say hi.
Hey. Hey.